If you started dating a guy right before quarantine happened, then you've pretty much been thrown into a long distance relationship. So the question usually comes about, how do I keep him interested whilst in lockdown so that the relationship doesn't fall apart and so that it can still progress and actually grow stronger? Well, in this video, I'm going to give you some really practical tips and some wisdom on what to do in this situation to keep him interested during social distancing. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Renee Slansky. I'm a professional dating and relationship coach, and I help women from around the world find and build the relationship that they desire and deserve. Okay, I've already done a couple of videos on social distancing, quarantine, and how to date during a pandemic, and you can check out all of those videos up above, and I'll also link them down below. Now, what I haven't really addressed properly is what happens when you met a guy or started dating someone before the whole pandemic and lockdown happened, and now you're freaking out a little bit because it's almost like your relationship is starting to stagnate. And that's because you can't see each other, so it's almost like you've been forced into a long distance relationship, even if you live in the same city. Now, before I get into these practical tips, make sure that you subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and let me know down below with a thanks, Renee, if this video is helping you. First thing that I want to say, girls, is this: do not rush the process. What I happen to see with clients that I'm talking to and people that are interacting with me is they are finding that they either feel that they have to move the relationship a lot faster by being in quarantine together, okay, which is almost bringing the familiar relationship stage into the dating phase, or you're finding that the relationship is slowing down so much that it's almost stagnating and there's just a whole lot of uncertainty if you both want the same thing, if that connection's still there. So then you have a tendency to want to put even more effort in to try and bring it up to the level that it was before. So we have to understand that you need to still set a healthy pace. Do not react to this situation with the mindset of, quick, I need to kind of like save what it is that I have. You have to understand that after we get out of quarantine, if you still have a relationship with that person, what you do in quarantine is going to affect it outside of quarantine. So we still need to have this healthy perspective and mindset that's setting the pace of how often do I see them? How often do I communicate with them? How do we still have boundaries, even if it is just more convenient for us to quickly move in together through the quarantining period? You have to have some sort of wisdom about this, because what you do now will have a consequence later on down the track. And the last thing that you want to do is rush the entire process out of fear of not being able to see them, or fear that they're going to pull back, and then realize that you've actually built a connection with someone that maybe you're not actually compatible with, or that you don't really know. The second thing to do, girls, is do not lower your standards because you feel that you need to in order to gain his attention. And what I mean by that is, if he starts being cheeky, like, oh, send me nudes, and he wants to escalate the sexual, intimate side of your relationship through a phone rather than actually having that interpersonal contact, don't go and do that if you're not comfortable with that. I know that right now there's a lot of fear and uncertainty throughout the world. So before I even get into this point, I just want to say that what you're feeling is normal. We are in a collective traumatic experience here in the world that none of this generation, majority of us, have ever been in before. So we're trying to navigate it the best way that we can. But don't go and settle for second best through your actions, or by allowing his action to do certain things that you're not actually happy with and that are not going to be good for your relationship that you're actually trying to build. Okay, the third thing to do in order to be able to keep him interested during lockdown is up the visuals. What I'm finding this time is that women are wanting to up the communication. Us girls, we love to talk. We talk something like 13,000 more words than men on a daily basis. So when we have more time and space to talk, plus we couple that with fear and uncertainty, all we want to do is talk. All we want to do is have more communication, and let's talk about our feelings and are you interested? And we ask all these questions. And essentially what it does is it makes a guy shut down. So what we need to do is we need to focus more on visuals. Send him a cute selfie saying, wish you were here, okay? Again, no nudes, no sexuals and things like that if your relationship isn't at that stage. Start doing video dates. Make them a combination of formal video dates and casual video dates. And I've also done another video on how to do a video date confidently as well. And I give you some really, really good tips in there. So watch that up above. Up the visuals. Men are visual people. They respond more so when they see a photo or a picture of you rather than you just talking to him. Now, the fourth thing to do is a really, really important point. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do right now because you'll know that in any of my videos, I go into depth about all this stuff. Now, the fourth thing to do is affirm his struggles. And I know you're probably thinking, what the heck has this got to do with keeping him interested? Well, by affirming what a man is struggling with, you are making him feel understood and appreciated and seen. The reason why right now a lot of men are actually pulling back and not putting as much effort and investment into the relationships that were either old or new is because their focus has shifted. In times of crisis, men aren't going to then pour more into their relationship. They're not going to pour more into communication. What they're really going to do is retreat back into their cave a little bit, because they're trying to actually figure out, what do I need to do here? What do I need to do to have financial security, to have job security, to make sure that I can still, have my purpose, to make sure that I'm not struggling, to make sure that I can still have my status. It is a normal thing for a man to be concerned about what is going on in the world and how to actually secure himself so that he can still be a provider and a protector and a performer. So ladies, don't necessarily take it personally if he has pulled back a little bit. The best thing to do in this situation is actually ask him, hey, how's it going with your work? How are you feeling about this? How's it going with, that stuff that you were really worried about? Ask to understand. Don't have conversations just to talk about how you necessarily feel. There are times for that, but it has to be equal here. And if you can ask to listen, to understand, and on top of that, affirm that he is struggling or affirm that he may not want to talk all the time and say like, that's okay, babe. I totally understand right now you've got a lot on your plate or you've got a lot to think about. I guarantee you, ladies, he will actually want to invest more into you and he will start to appreciate and respect you so much more because he will realize that you're not putting as much pressure on him, that you're trying to support him. And a really awesome man will appreciate a woman who does actually make him feel supportive and appreciated and understood in a time such as this. Okay, the fifth thing to do is balance your focus. Girls, I know that you want to make sure that this relationship doesn't fall apart. I know that you really like this guy and you want it to continue to move forward. But if you are going to put all your focus on trying to keep this alive and survive, I can tell you right now, you are going to lose perspective and you are also just going to do things that maybe you shouldn't do. So you need to step back a little bit. Focus on other areas of your life. Focus on your family who may be struggling, on your friends who may have some mental health issues during this time. Focus on your own purpose, your own career. Do some exercise every day. Make sure that you're putting energy equally into other parts of your life so that you're not solely focusing just on this guy or just on trying to keep this relationship alive. If you do that, what you'll do is you'll put that on a pedestal, which will put way too much pressure on it. You'll end up pushing him away and then you'll beat yourself up because you'll realize you've actually self-sabotaged. Okay, the sixth thing to do is find opportunities to flirt, laugh, and basically just have a good time. We have a lot of stress at the moment. There is obviously internal stress where we're all processing our own fears, and there's external stresses out there by the fact of like when we go out, we can only go out to certain places and blah, blah. So we need to find opportunities to balance that stress by injecting joy. Find some great opportunities to laugh about things. Send him a funny meme, send him a joke, flirt with each other, and do things that you would normally do if you were actually in person with each other. If you're in person with each other and you're on a date, you're not necessarily going to be having big D&Ms and big like, oh, I'm here to support you talks all the time. You're going to actually be having fun. So we need to try and bring that fun into quarantine, either through the video date, through exchanging of text messages, or just through conversations. Either way, if you don't inject some sort of fun into this situation, what will happen is he won't actually start to see the relationship that he's building with you as something positive. And the number one reason why men will continue to invest into a relationship with a woman is because when he's with her, he feels awesome. He feels amazing. Now, yes, you can make him feel amazing by being supportive and saying, yep, I see your struggle and I affirm it. But let's also balance it out with something a little bit lighter by making him being able to laugh or being able to share a joke or still flirting with him during this time so that you can continue the physical and sexual attraction between you both. And lastly, number 7, girls, which is super important. So before I tell you, make sure you hit the subscribe button and drop a thanks Renee down below if this is helping you. Give me a thumbs up as well. Is communicate for the right reason. Basically nowadays, a lot of us feel like it's Groundhog Day. We wake up, we don't go to work, we do the same sort of thing. If you're homeschooling your kids, it's just kind of like this cycle, right? So we don't have as much happening in our lives, and so we kind of feel that maybe our communication is not as exciting as it used to be. Can I just say it is better to communicate less if you aren't communicating for the right reason. And when I say the right reason, you're communicating to understand, you're communicating to listen. Sometimes you're communicating without an agenda. You actually genuinely just want to know how they are and what's happening in their day. And you're communicating in a way that it is productive and edifying. And you will know it is productive and edifying because when you leave the conversation, you will have a sense of peace. Now, negative communication is where you're communicating out of desperation. Like you're worried that you haven't heard from him, so you're just going to send him 50 texts, right? Not a good idea. Or you're communicating out of fear. Is he going to leave me? Is he talking to another girl? Oh, quick, I need to stalk him. I need to accuse him. I need to attack him because I'm so worried and I'm projecting, okay? Or you're communicating out of boredom. Oh, hey babe, what are you up to? Oh, not much. And it's just kind of stagnating communication, which isn't really going to do either of you any good, okay? So make sure that you have some sort of intention and goal behind what you're communicating. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to communicate every single time in a heavy way, but still just be aware of the reason why you're communicating so that you can make sure that communication is positive every single time. All right, girls, I hope that this video really helped you. Let me know again down below if it has, and let me know if there's one particular thing that you're struggling with that you want me to talk about as well. I'm going to go get a coffee and then I'm going to go record some more videos for you guys on my channel. Hope that you are staying safe, stay home. We are getting through this together and hopefully it will be over soon. Until next time, know that you're all worthy, beautiful, and lovable, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.